Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. Forget El Clasico, forget the Manchester Derby. Football's greatest rivalry does not take place in Europe. It is a battle for supremacy spanning an entire continent, one that has endured for a century, born out of an intense struggle for power. This is no ordinary rivalry, it is a conflict written in blood, sweat, and tears, where every match serves as a new chapter in an endless war. It is a tale of genius and brutality, of gods and mortals, and of two nations whose very identities were forged in opposition. This is the true story of Argentina versus Brazil. Our story begins not with a bang, but with a simple football match. It was September 1914, in Buenos Aires, when Argentina and Brazil faced each other for the very first time. Argentina emerged victorious, netting 3 goals against their neighbors without conceding a single one. It was merely a friendly match, yet it ignited a spark. At that time, South American football was ruled by two kings, Argentina and Uruguay. They were the most powerful, the true elite of the sport. Brazil was an ambitious outsider, a sleeping giant just beginning to realize its true potential, gazing with envious eyes upon the Argentine throne. This was not a matter of friendship, it was a battle to establish their status and dignity. During the early tournaments of the Copa America, then known as the South American Championship, their matches already possessed a palpable and intense ferocity. But in 1937, this tension reached its boiling point. The Copa America final, held in Buenos Aires, was a brutal and chaotic contest. The match ended in a stalemate and dragged into extra time. Fights broke out among the spectators in the stands, eventually spilling onto the pitch itself. Amidst all this chaos, a young Argentine player named Vicente de la Mota scored not 1, but 2 goals, securing the cup for his nation. It is said that the Brazilian players, fearing for their lives, fled the field before the final whistle had even blown. Later, they dubbed the match the Jogo de Vergonha, the game of shame. The real battle had begun. While Argentina was consolidating its dominance, Brazil was forging something entirely different. In the 1934 and 1938 World Cup tournaments, a highly energetic and attacking Brazilian squad garnered widespread acclaim and admiration on the global stage, all while Argentina, having decided against participating in those tournaments, remained at home. The message was clear: Argentina may have won the battle on home soil, but Brazil was now preparing to conquer the world. The most intense chapter of this rivalry was written by two individuals who laid claim to the title of the greatest footballer of all time. But before Maradona, there was Pelé, and his era began with a major disaster for Argentina. The 1958 World Cup marked a crowning achievement for Brazil. A 17-year-old Pelé led them to victory with a style of football so effortless and joyful that it came to be known as Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game. While Brazil reveled in victory, Argentina suffered a complete meltdown. They endured profound humiliation. Following a crushing 6-1 defeat at the hands of Czechoslovakia, they were eliminated from the tournament. That defeat left a deep fissure in the heart of Argentine football. The nation that had once prided itself on its creative and spectacular style of play, epitomized by the legendary River Plate squad known as La Máquina, was now left in shock. A new mentality emerged: anti-football. If they could not defeat their opponents through skill, they would defeat them through sheer combat. This shift defined Argentine football for decades, standing in stark contrast to Brazil's artistic flair. It transformed the clash between the two nations into an ideological war. On one side, the artists; on the other, the warriors. For many years, Brazilian clubs even refused to participate in the Copa Libertadores tournament, arguing that they frequently faced excessive violence on Argentine soil. On the pitch, Pelé remained a perpetual nightmare for Argentina. He scored a total of 8 goals in 10 official matches against them, and yet, despite his immense impact, he never had the opportunity to face Argentina in a World Cup. On that grand stage, a new generation was now carving out a place for itself. The World Cup became the ultimate battleground between the two nations. In 1974, Brazil recorded their first World Cup victory against their arch-rivals. Legendary players Rivalino and Jairzinho were on the scoresheet. Then, in 1982, a Brazilian squad emerged that many still consider to be the greatest team never to have won the World Cup. Featuring players like Zico, Falcao, and Socrates, this team put on a magnificent display of football, defeating Argentina 3-1. Brazil's performance was incredibly stylish and powerful, leaving Argentina looking utterly outclassed. But then came 1990, and then came Diego. The World Cup round of 16 match held in Turin proved to be a triumph. The stage was set, Brazil dominated the entire match. Their shots repeatedly rattled the woodwork. Argentina could barely hold their own, but they possessed something that Brazil did not. Diego Maradona, with just 10 minutes remaining in the match, Maradona picked up the ball, weaved his way through a crowd of yellow-jerseyed players, and delivered a perfect pass to Claudio Caniggia. Caniggia beat the goalkeeper and scored. Argentina won 1-0. This remains their only victory against Brazil in the knockout stages of the World Cup. However, the victory was shrouded in controversy. Brazilian players later accused the Argentine staff of giving their defender, Branco, a water bottle laced with sedatives, an incident that became infamously known as the holy water scandal. Whether true or not, it perfectly illustrates the ugly side of this rivalry, where a mentality of crossing any boundary to secure victory prevails. This is not merely a game, it is a saga that has come to define an entire continent. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of football, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on football's greatest rivalries, and let us know in the comments. Was the 1990 holy water incident a brilliant tactical move or the ultimate act of foul play in this rivalry? As legends like Pelé and Maradona passed into history, the rivalry found renewed vigor in the modern era, particularly within the high-pressure atmosphere of the Copa America. The 2004 final stands as a perfect example of drama and heartbreak. Argentina held a 2-1 lead. In the dying moments of the match, victory was mere seconds away, but with the very last kick of the game, Brazil's Adriano unleashed a powerful strike to equalize the score. A penalty shootout ensued, which Brazil ultimately won. It was a victory snatched from the jaws of defeat, a wound that continued to burn in the hearts of Argentine players and fans for years to come. Then came two new footballing deities, Lionel Messi and Neymar. They were friends and teammates at Barcelona and PSG, respectively, yet, on the international stage, they were heirs to a centuries-old rivalry. Even in their era, Brazil held the upper hand. In the 2019 Copa America tournament, Brazil defeated Messi's Argentina in the semifinals and went on to lift the Copa America trophy on home soil. It seemed as though the narrative was already predetermined. Brazil would somehow find a way to win, and Messi's agonizing wait for an international trophy would continue. But then came 2021, the Copa America final. The venue was the Maracana Stadium, revered as the most sacred temple of Brazilian football. It was the perfect stage to settle the score. This time, there was no last-minute drama, no heartbreaking twists of fate. An early goal by Angel Di Maria sealed the victory. The Argentine players defended with their very lives, displaying that immense courage and fighting spirit that had become their hallmark. The final whistle blew. Argentina had won 1-0. After a long 28 years, Argentina had claimed a major trophy, and Lionel Messi had finally conquered his greatest challenge on Brazilian soil. In their most hallowed stadium, this victory was not merely a win, it was a coronation that settled the score for an entire generation. The head-to-head record between the two teams tells the story of an endless battle. Even after more than 100 official matches, the margin between wins and losses for the two sides remains so narrow that it is almost hard to believe. Depending on which matches one considers official, some records show Brazil with 43 wins to Argentina's 41, while others place the tally at 46-42. It is a rivalry that is notoriously close. However, in recent years, Argentina has dealt Brazil several significant blows, including their first ever victory on Brazilian soil in a World Cup qualifying match in late 2023. Yet, the crowd disturbances that marred that particular match added another layer of bitterness to this age-old rivalry. So, what is it that makes this rivalry one of the greatest in football? It is not simply because they are neighbors, rather, it is a fundamental question of identity. It is a battle between the style and artistry of Joga Bonito and the fierce fighting spirit of La Guerra. It is a contest pitting the divine talents of Maradona and Messi against Brazil's 5 World Cup titles. It is a struggle to establish cultural and sporting supremacy, one that has unfolded on the pitch for over a century. Every tackle, every goal, and every trophy won is measured against the achievements of the opposing side. Pelé is compared to Maradona, Zico to Kempes, Ronaldinho to Riquelme, and Neymar to Messi. This debate never ends, for this war never ceases. Now, with Argentina currently reigning as world champions, a new chapter has begun in this rivalry, a chapter in which Argentina holds the crown, while Brazil looks on with envy. The balance of power has shifted once again, yet one thing remains certain. The next battle is never far away. It is not merely about football, it is Argentina versus Brazil.